Slop and Glory. Oh,
Yeah.
Slop and Glory.
Oh no, this is the new.
Spell victory.
This is gonna be the new theme song, man. Your
G'day,
version.
mate.
G'day, mate. How are you, sir?
How you doing, Doctor? Good to see you, sir.
Ah, good to see you again, man. You're looking good.
Better.
All right,
You
all
gotta be
right.
better.
I love it. I love it.
Shake it off.
Yeah,
Shake it
dude. Man. Okay, all right. We got you on the Slop and Glory podcast, man. The one and the only. This guy is unstoppable. He's doing the wave with his hands. I mean, this is. I mean, forget AI, man. We just need this all day.
off. Go. Just 6 copies and a pocket full of dreams.
Well, you know what? I just want to like start going straight into where you're at right now because like I feel like we were on the Captain Ha Haa like sci-fi, you know, wave, and now you've gone into a new like Technicolor fantasy
Yes.
era. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that like I mean, I guess talk about that. Are you just following kind of like what you're interested in? Are you
Ooh.
leaving it behind, the sci-fi? Like,
Yes, yes,
okay.
and yes.
Really?
So, it was an idea. I had an idea about 4 years ago for a show called Echoes of the Strange, and it was a very similar sort of style, sort of cinemascope, sort of colourful, campy sort of costumes, very practical design sort of stuff. And then sort of the software wasn't ready yet. You know, lipsticking wasn't ready yet. There was a couple of things that needed to be working for that concept to work. And then moved on to, the Captain Ha Haa adventure, Search for Gary, and all the other sort of sci-fi stuff, which I'm still very passionate about. But I chucked in an old prompt that never worked, and it did. And then I shared it, and everyone liked it. And I went, oh, okay, I've got to crack in on that idea again. And you know what it's like. Once you get your teeth into an idea, you forget about all the other ideas, and that one becomes the main focus, and you put everything into that, and you realize, oh, wait a minute, I'm 2/3 through another story that needs to be finished. I mean, Gary still hasn't been caught. Still hasn't been rescued. He's still stuck in a jail somewhere in outer space. Poor guy. So I've still got that series to finish, which I am. It's written. I've just got to put it all together. I've got some interesting new cast members coming in on that one. But yes, this other one it scratches an itch that I've had, and I think it resonates with a lot of other people too. And that's that old, soft, tungsten-like feel, that cinema that's sort of soft on the brain. You know what I mean? Soft on the eyes, but also soft on the brain a bit. It's sort of easy on the brain. It's not too dystopian. You know, everyone loves a good dystopian, and it's definitely a fun subject to play around with. But it's more just weird, and it's just like he's a bit of a weird one, that captain. And so. And I like that. I embrace that. I like the weird, So for me, that was like, all right, I'm going to jump in on this. And there's a whole story there as well. And then from that, of course, the Panpipe Adventurer, which is which is like the main story that I had written ages ago with a whole bunch of sketches. Like that starfish guy. Me and my brother used to send pictures of a starfish guy to each other just to make each other laugh all the time. And then I turned him into a knight, made him a bit more respectable. But
that's
stuff.
Cool.
It's like a running joke between two brothers like 20 years ago. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because I was gonna ask, like, it feels like you're like simultaneously building out the world. You're building these characters. They're like, and then you'll have like these story moments, and then it's really cool. I mean, you see in other creators are doing that, but you're seeing worlds being built in real time. You're literally seeing like you're the architect of this world, and you're like, here's a piece, and here's a piece, and it's just fascinating, man. It's so cool to see. It's so inspiring, man.
I think the hardest part for me is focusing on the one idea. Because it's like a kid in a candy store. I can walk around and go, oh, I can make a bit of sci-fi today. Oh, I wouldn't mind a slice of pizza and maybe a bit of, 1970s hip-hop style. You can sort of, it's an all you can eat. So it's hard to focus sometimes. That's my biggest challenge, I think, is focusing on the one project. Mm-hmm. I'm down to 3. that's amazing for me. Usually I have 4 or 5 going at the same time, and 2 out of the 3 are very much the same style, very much that sort of
Yeah.
animatronic practical effects style, which is what I love. I love that sort of stuff.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, I do too. Obviously, will you speak on that a little more, because I've heard other creators say this too. Like, what is wrong with? I mean, because I'm still kind of like throwing stuff at the wall. I'm experimenting. I am like, oh, I want to try this. I want to try that.
Mm.
And but you're kind of saying, what is wrong with that, or does that lead nowhere, or how do you
I
think
think it's
about
really
that?
good.
Hmm.
I think it's good until a point, because there's going to come a point where there are going to be some people that really like your work, and they want to distribute it, or they want in on it. They go, listen, whatever you're working on, it resonates with me. I want in it. But in order for that to sort of work in a cohesive way, you need to have a project to work on. You need to have something so having a project, having a sort of a flagship, if you like, sort of gives you something to put all your energy into, and then gives you something to hand over to other people. So, whether it's distribution or an AI tool company that's interested in what you're doing, you can say, listen, this is what I'm working on. This is how I've developed the characters, and I've got backstories. And this is how it can lead to other things, whether it's a series or T-shirts or a new theme park,
Man, that is so exciting, man. Holy
Mm,
crap. I mean, because
yeah,
you're
it's
you're
great.
doing it, man. Like I've said, I mean, many times, like I would watch, and so many people say this too. I see this. They're like, I would watch this feature. This is more exciting than most of the schlock on Hollywood. That's cool. I mean,
Mm,
you feel it, and you would too. Obviously, you want to see it too.
I
You make
do.
it, yeah.
I feel it, but then the pressure comes on, because then it's like, well, I want to make sure this is awesome. Then you know what I
Mm,
mean. So
yeah.
when something does sort of resonate with people, uh, I try not to, but I tend to get even more protective of it in a way. I want it to be perfect, which is always a trap. You never want anything to be perfect. You really, I mean, I'm not saying close enough is always good enough, but I think in the creative world, if you dwell too much on the one piece, you get lost in the piece. It can take you years, and then you get nothing done. Really, you get one piece and a whole pocket full of resentment. So you sort of, I should have done more. So I think you get it to a point where you're like, okay, message is received. People are going to understand this and accept the fact that maybe the next episode or that part 2 is going to be the improvement, or part 3. And I think you got to earn that too. I think if you make something that's good enough that everyone likes it, they're going to want to see a part 3. So you want to make it at least good, and you want to pay respect to the idea enough that other people will understand the idea and appreciate it. But like I said, you don't want to get too obsessed. I mean, there was a time that I spent a year and a half on one painting, and it's probably one of the worst paintings I've ever done. But I was
Wow, that's
obsessed with
so
it.
interesting.
It,
That's
it was about
interesting.
that big. It had so many layers. It had so many layers of paint that there's probably about 5 or 6 paintings underneath that painting that I could have done separately and could have gladly shared.
Wow,
You know,
yeah.
that's how I think about it sometimes. You think about, well, there's layers there, and it's nice to have layers, but you never get those layers back. So
Yeah.
sometimes create something, let it just be what it is. It's not perfect. But then the next thing, you can take the best parts of that first thing and go, well, this is what I learned that works, and this is what I learned that doesn't. And the next, there's another piece. You can make another one. There's no rule that says
Yes.
you can't make 6 videos that look almost identical with only slightly incremental improvements. I mean, people might find some real appreciation in that.
That's so interesting.
Mm.
That's
And then
yeah.
there's the flip side of it.
Yeah.
Whereas when I make something, a lot of the time I'll put so much energy into it. Once it's done, it's dead to me. You know what I mean? Like, I'll make something, I'll put so much energy into it, it's done. I'll go, I don't want to see that again. It's done. And, I spent too much energy on it. There's too much pain involved in that piece. So, it exists. Enjoy it, everyone. It exists. But, yeah, I'm moving on.
Do you
Not,
do you, because that makes me think of like how, ephemeral social media is. It is kind of like it's a strange thing, right? Because it isn't like you're putting a painting in like a gallery or something, or a show on a TV. Like it's like more immediate. Like you make it, you put it out, or ideally you put effort, you make something you like, but then you
mm.
share it and people see it, scroll past it, and then go to the
Go
next
past
thing.
it, yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah.
well, what the hell? It's like, what are we doing? But you are building though. That's the thing. So it's like this
It's tricky,
strange.
isn't it? Yeah. there's a both sides of it. There's both sides because yeah, you're right. It's going to be gone. People are going to. They're not going to sit there and go, oh, and then dance around the phone once it's finished playing. Go, let's watch it again, and they'll watch it again. You might get 1 out of 1,000 people that does that. Most people are going to be watching it and then
I
scrolling to
do.
the next thing.
I rewatch your stuff, but yeah.
Or they'll be watching it and go, oh, I need toilet paper, and they'll put the phone down and go grab the toilet. You know, whatever. Yeah. You got to accept that. I always picture at least 50% of my audience on the toilet.
That's good. That's good.
You know, because it's humbling, man. It's like they're not going to the theater; they're taking a poo. You know, they're taking a poo. So don't be too full of yourself, mate. You know, so you sort of got to balance it a bit there. You know.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Well, you also like I wonder if you have any thoughts on this because I was just reading the dude, the obsession guy, you know, Curry Barker was talking about making all these shorts on YouTube and how that like affected his understanding of the audience's like attention span. And so how you would apply that to like scenes and stuff. And I don't know if you feel that because I also feel like your stuff is actually pretty like measured. Like I feel like it's very like you kind of said, it's like soft for the brain. Like it isn't like, you know, crazy. You actually embody the feel of like an older, you know, movie and that sensibility and the pacing. At least for the fantasy Technicolor stuff. Maybe it's different for the sci-fi, like which is more TV show. But yeah.
I like to think, you know, it's intentional. It's definitely intentional. I intentionally took that path. Just because, like I said, I see a lot of dystopian stuff online, a lot of good dystopian stuff online. But I get a little bummed out by it after a while, you know what I mean? And so for me, entertainment is about accessing all the emotions, not just fear and anger, you know, which, you know, the dystopian thing does sort of trigger that sort of, because then you start thinking, what would I do in that situation? And everyone's got a zombie plan, you know what I mean? I've got a zombie plan. I may or may not have a duffel bag full of Kit Kats somewhere in a park somewhere. I may or may not, you know, just in case, you know, I've got my Kit Kats ready. But so it's fun but I also think in the current climate we're in the world, I think it's nice to have something where you can sit back, like a warm cup of coffee, you know, like a hot cup of coffee, you know, something where you can sit back and just go, I'm just going to let this play over my mind a bit, you know, and I try and make it funny. I always try and make it funny. I mean, that's the other part too. I try and make it as funny as possible. I really want people to make people laugh. That's ultimately what I've always wanted to do, is just make people laugh. Even back then when I was doing sculpture,
really?
I'd always add something weird to it. I'd always add something weird. I'd always be like waiting for the person to find the extra bum on the back of the guy's neck or something like that. Just out of the music.
And did they find it? Did they ever find it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Often, yeah. I mean, occasionally I'd point it out. I'd be so enthusiastic about the whole thing. I'd be like, did you see the extra bum though? You know?
Well,
oh, lovely.
I mean, I'm curious because I feel like fine art is that environment is often not conducive to like humor, or I don't know, you know.
Yeah, it's not. It's really not. It's so not. And I've been at it for a long time, and trying to be the Joker in a room full of wannabe kings and queens is very tricky sometimes. But I like it. I kind of like it, you know, because I think the funniest moments are most serious. You know what I mean? I mean, you know, when you're stuck in class or stuck in church, that's the worst time to laugh.
Oh yeah, funeral, yeah.
That's gonna be the time you laugh, and I like that. I like finding that other person. I like finding that other person in the crowd that is, you know, your surrogate mate in class. It just sort of is also laughing too, and try and hold it back. And that's perfect.
It's the best.
Yeah, I love that.
Well, I mean, I see that you're like a classic entertainer, man, because like it always has humor, and then you also have like musical pieces. You know, it's like the whole classic like showman. You know.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm a bit like that. I grew up in a family of entertainers, really? So it was always. My mum was a clown. My mum was a professional performing clown. Yeah. So I grew up with clowns in my house.
Is that like?
Which
do you
is
mean
normal,
like?
Apparently.
Well, do you mean like the Commedia dell'arte, like clowns?
No, I mean like,
okay.
I mean, knife throwing, juggling clowns with makeup, and it always amuses me how people are scared of clowns, and I think that was literally my childhood, was like waking up and be a half-conscious clown on the couch, passed out. You know?
Wow. So you don't have a fear of clowns?
No, I'm
Okay.
fascinated. They crack me up.
Yeah.
Yeah, just because, I got to hang around them. I mean, I got taught how to throw knives by a clown, by
Wow,
a
that's
professional.
amazing.
So he taught me how to throw everything from a screwdriver to a bread knife to knives and all types of things.
That's amazing. So, did you do any like clowning or clown work, or were you ever
Yeah.
interested? Okay.
Me and my brothers did a bunch. That's where the name Captain Ha Haa comes from, actually. Me and my brothers used to dress up as clowns, but we were military clowns. So I was like Captain Ha Haa. My brother was General Chaos, and there was Captain. What's it? Sergeant Giggles. Oh yeah. Anyway, we're like three boys dressed as in clown makeup, but we had guns with flowers hanging at the end of them and stuff like that.
Amazing.
So we do charity events. There would be like my mum was part of a thing called the Moomba Clown Club, where every year there'd be a Moomba parade, and we do events. We go to church. We go to churches and what's it called? Hospital events like the Royal Children's Hospital appeal we'd have every year, where we just raise money, cheer kids up, and do funny things. Buckets of confetti and silly things like that.
Yeah,
So
that's
yeah,
amazing.
a lot of performing as a kid. Was normal.
Wow. No, but no, I have no clown videos yet. Nothing in the
No,
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 never.
I left that to my mum. People, because the way people react to clowns,
Mm.
because and that's something I had to get used to as well. Because I used to walk into a party dressed as a clown, and people go, "Oh no, it's happy time." You go, "You're gonna have to leave, man. You make me upset my girlfriend."
That's so funny. Why is there a fear of clowns, or why is that so popular in like the like it and stuff? Like,
Well, clowns are weirdos. Let's face it. I mean, there's a lot of clowns are weirdos. Grown. I mean, when you've got a grown man putting on makeup and chasing kids down the street, that used to be a crime. It's got to be a 50-50 chance there's something wrong with the fella.
fair. That's fair.
I think that's probably it. That and it. I think it had a lot to do with the marketing. That definitely, galvanized the clowning community.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's all part of art. It's all part of performance. I
Yeah.
liked it.
Yeah, well, I know. I mean, I've heard like I think like the guy from The Office, Rainn Wilson, talks about like clowning. There are a lot of like famous people who've went through like fancy clown schools and stuff.
Yeah, there's a whole hierarchy. There's a
Yeah.
whole
Oh, okay.
where you get your name from, how you get your
Oh
makeup
wow.
done.
Oh, crazy. Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Um.
Mafia. You don't want to be you'll end up with a rubber horse head in your bed.
how do you? How do you? I remember last time we spoke, you kind of were talking about like how you pick ideas or how you come upon like what you're going to work on. Like, do you kind of have a how do you work? I mean, do you have a set like you have a sense like okay, I know I'm going to be working in this world. This you have like you said you have kind of three main kind of like
Mm.
big picture.
Obligations. I call them my heavy obligations because they
Okay.
feel like an obligation. What I mean? It's like I've got people are invested in this. I've got to come through and bring it. People are invested in this. People are invested. In that. So I've got those big things there, and that's nice jumping off points. And I do try and have some cohesiveness too with all my videos. So there are videos that might only go for 15 seconds, but there'll be something in them that you might see in a future video, and you'll be like, oh, so that is part of the world. And a lot of the time, yeah, it's sort of part of the multiverse of haha. But I try and have some more sort of obvious connections there. And other times it's just improvisation. Other times it's just I love to improvise. So for me, improv is like a treat. And I mean, I find that's the easiest way to create for me is improvisation. So a lot of
Yeah.
people they like to write it out. They'll have a script bible and stuff like that. Me, most of the time, it's just in my head. 50 years of daydreaming. You build a nice library in there.
Yeah, yeah. Well, will you talk about that more? I mean, is it because I resonate with that a lot, and it almost seems like the tools um are better utilized through improvisation than getting a storyboard because they're so you can't get exactly what you want. There's so much surprise that comes from the tools
Yeah,
themselves that you have to work with. The feedback
yeah.
you
It's a
get.
collaboration. I think it is. It's a collaboration when you're working with AI. It's not just you. You can be militant about it, and you can say, "I need you to do this," and then do 50 rerolls until you get that exact thing. or you can appreciate what you get from what your idea triggered, and then build on that. And I find there's more of a flow if you take what you receive and then go, okay, it's not 100%, it's 80% what I wanted, but it does give me an idea that I can attach something to that. Because that's what we're really doing with those 15-second clips. We're attaching them together, one upon the other, upon the other. And we want to make sure that there's some kind of direction there. And improv, you can sort of, if you're not too locked into your story Bible or your script or your screenplay or whatever you're working from, if you're not too locked into that, you can actually find there's a lot more naturalness and more flow. And that might flow in a direction that you might not intentionally want to go. But if you follow it and you use your creativity to mold it into something that fits, so it's not just random. There's still an interaction there. There's still you shaping where it's going. But sometimes it comes out blue, and even if you want red, it's coming out blue. So you make blue work, and you slowly move from blue to purple, and then you eventually get to red.
Man, dude, this is amazing. This is like a masterclass because a lot of people are gonna hear this and it'll be very helpful. Would you speak a little bit more about that? Like you just said something interesting, which is like it's not it isn't just, when you're saying improvising, you're not saying like anything goes. There are
No.
and we kind of
You,
what do you
you,
personally
you
use to
find
kind of guide
places to
yourself?
start off. Yeah, you find there's a trigger. There'll be a trigger there. There'll be something that'll be like, oh, that reminds me of this. And you go, wait a minute, if it reminds me of this, there's a good chance that other people are also going to be reminded of this. It's going to trigger the same sort of emotion, the same sort of idea, or it'll be a callback memory to a famous something or other. And you can build on that. You wrap yourself around whatever you're presented with. So yeah, improvisation isn't necessarily about being completely random because you'll have no cohesiveness there. It's about recognizing what's just happened and finding a way to inject your idea onto that so that become one fluid idea.
Do you have I'm gonna like project a little bit here, but
Mm.
because this is how I think, but do you ever have like, so once you kind of have a sense like, oh, this is interesting, then do you have a sense of like an end point? Like, how do you think about making something cohesive and interesting and, compelling?
Mm. Start, middle, and end. That's the part, like you just said it. You really want to have an ending to it. You want to have a sort of moment. You want a last bite moment where like you've got the last bite of cake and you really want to enjoy it. You know what I mean? And that's kind of the way I try and make it. A little ride. I try and set up the characters. Even just basic storytelling. Set up the characters. Give them a problem to fix. Do they overcome it? Do they not overcome it? Both outcomes are kind of funny. Which is the one that fits right for you? And then have a conclusion, or have a dovetail opportunity. Whereas dovetail is where you've got one idea and you've got another idea, and you're dovetailing them over the top of each other, so that it jumps from this concept of what the audience has been used to, and they go, oh, and then there's another little dovetail moment here, and now we've jumped over. He's not on the ship anymore. Now we've established who the character is. We know what his mannerisms are, and he's in a different situation, and the audience has got some expectations there because you've already set up the kind of personality the character's got. So you can sort of give them, because the character, the audience wants to figure it out too. There's nothing more fun than figuring it out. I knew he was going to do that. I knew that was going to happen, but you still get some enjoyment out of it because the anticipation's there and that nice bit of closure. Again, that all wraps into the whole idea of nostalgia and the fact that storytelling has been told a certain way. And I think that's shaped our brains in a certain way. So we have some preloaded expectations in there that not everyone is aware of. And I think if you play off those a bit and you put a story on top of that, it makes it a lot easier for the audience member to get lost in it. Because you want to get the audience member lost in it, And to do that, you've got to sort of have some kind of emotional attachment, I think. And you've got to make them laugh or make them angry or make them, evoke an emotion that makes them go, oh, hell no, and grabs the phone and puts it a bit closer. Come on now, that type of thing. That's how I see it.
Oh man, this is so great. This is so great. This is so great. And I think it's so useful, especially right now at this time, like for people to start upping their game. This is such great, information, like for people to think about maybe, okay, how can I add a little story to this? How can I add a little like conclusion? How can I, because if you can tell a 15-second story, you can tell a 1-minute story, then you can tell a 3-minute scene, and then that scene can be part of a first act. It's
my best stories come with what's going to happen. What happens next? You want to know, when I want to know what happens next, because you can build off that. And sometimes you can, build a concept, just even a 15-second clip, right? Make it a cool 15-second clip. Make it something awesome, and then build off it. You know what I mean? Then you can, whatever the situation is, whether it's a monster in a castle. So, for example, we'll just make one up right now. We'll say there's a monster in a castle, and he's just woken up, and oh boy, he's got a headache. He's making the classic. He's making a cup of tea, right? Okay. That, and then people watch that, and that'd be a 15-second. People go, okay, but what happens after? Well, what happens when the coffee hits? You know, what happens when the gurgle hits the monster's stomach? You can take that then from grumpy monster in a castle to grumpy monster running to the toilet, or grumpy monsters run out of toilet paper. You know what I mean?
But
like,
the toilet, but the bathroom is under construction. He can't get into the bathroom.
Exactly.
So yeah.
Exactly. Or it's a Tuesday, and everyone knows monsters can't use toilets on a Tuesday. Like, add some absurdity in there if you want to, but it's still about a monster in a castle that's just woken up and feeling grumpy.
I love it.
You know, I mean, it's a simple explanation, but it kind of tells you where to go. You know what I mean? Because you want to, if there's a, oh man, who was it? It was Trey Parker and Matt Stone. They brought out a really amazing documentary called, I think it's called 7 Days or something. I don't know if you've seen it, where they go through, they basically explain how they make a South Park episode in 7 days, and they explain the process. And one of the things that really stuck with me is it's never something happens for no reason in South Park. It's always something listed. It's like, well, Kyle did this, so that means Eric's going to do this, and then that. So, and that's kind of what's in my mind as well. You want a reason. You want there to be absurdity and strangeness. That's awesome. Everyone loves that. But you want to have some kind of cohesive storyline that joins it all together. You know what I mean? Like, it's nice to chuck in a cute puppy every now and then. But why is the cute puppy there? You know what I mean? It's like, give it a reason. Maybe it's a homicidal maniac. Maybe it's not a cute puppy at all.
Man, no, I don't know. Have you seen that famous 2-minute clip on YouTube? It's from like 15 years ago, where they did a little talk at NYU, and they talk about but or therefore. Their whole thing. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, that changed my life. Changed my life.
100%. And if even you just take that simple principle and build on, and just use that alone, nothing else.
Yes.
I think the audience can pick up on that, and there's something there.
Yes. And that can be your guide. That can be your map. If you're like, I don't know what to do, it can give you the physics. Because I see so many amazing artists and so many cool, compelling scenes. It's an image. It's so evocative. It's amazing characters. Alien. Like, I've never seen anything like it. But it's like, but now tell the story of like the moment to moment, story inside that world. And yeah, man.
Yeah, exactly. Right. You've got to, it's about that. And then, like you said, it's about the and then. What happens after that? What happens? What does he do on his off? What does the monster do on his off time? You know what I mean? What does he like to do for fun? Is he a gardener? Does he like to cook? You know, maybe he's, maybe he writes a newsletter every week. Who knows? Let's get to know this monster, Doc.
Okay, I have in the weeds question. Very AI creator in the weeds. Do you have like videos that you've started and stopped, and like, how do you deal with that? Because we are, for a lot of people, it can get expensive generating videos and experimenting and improvising. So, and you might have this video that's like 15 seconds. Well, fuck, I don't know what to do. It's like, what do you do when you have those things? Is that like an unfinished painting you put away? You'll think about it, that kind of thing, or?
Yeah, sorry, mate. My cat's just
in
the cupboard here. Get out of here, man. Sorry about that. Cat was just eating food off the top of the table.
Oh boy.
I'm terrible. Sorry. That was a good question. Yeah, I do. Dr. Dreams, take two.
Right, okay.
It's funny you mentioned that. Yes, I do. I do like to cast aside those ideas that didn't quite prick my nipples the way they should. But yeah, definitely. I think there are ideas that I've had to let go. There are ideas that are dead to me, that simply because either I knew it was going to be a bigger project that I did not have the capacity or the budget to cover. Like, there's definitely some ideas I've got that are sort of like maybe later ideas where I've made a 15-second clip. People have been really happy with it, but I'm like, I'm not feeling the drive. I know there's something missing there, that in the back of my mind, I know there's element that I still need to discover to make that a full-bodied sort of story. So I'll leave it or let it go. Heaps. I've got bunches and bunches of unfinished stories where I thought it was a good idea, sort of got halfway through it and went, because if it's not resonating with you, the person who's making it, then the expectation that an audience member is going to enjoy it is going to be it's a lot harder, sort of.
But what about the thing where it's like you're like, I don't know if this is any good. I'm just gonna put it out, and then that's the thing people
Yeah,
like. I mean,
yeah, that's good. That's what the short. I think short clips are good for that because you can test out a concept. You
I
can
see, I
invest
see.
30 seconds, 45 seconds into something, or even a couple of minutes, where you can spend a few days on an idea, really, really explore it, and then see how it lands. And again, it's tricky because I know you've experienced this too. It can all depend on the platform and your audience too. You can have an amazing idea, and it's just not in the right spot. And it should be on X when it's on YouTube. It should be on TikTok when it's on Instagram. A lot of the time, it's the idea is fine. It's just you're pitching it to the wrong people, or the algorithm shows it to the wrong people, so it lies flat. I got a folder with a bunch of ideas called rejected ideas. But every now and then I'll go into them, and I'll double click on one of the videos, and I'll remember why I liked it, and I'll also remember why I didn't like it. But it'll spark up something that'll give me a new idea. So sometimes your video isn't the main feature. Sometimes it's the compost for the next main feature. You know what I mean? Sometimes you've got to cut it all up, put it in a bin, so that it can grow something even better out of the essence of what it was. Because I've definitely got a bunch of stuff like that where I'll be like, oh, I'm going to add that thing I did that I never got to show anyone. I'm going to add that little thing, but add it to this new, this new cake jungle where these cake creatures walking around. There's definitely things like that where I've had another idea and can finally use that weird idea I had for that thing that worked, and then I'll use it.
Yeah, that's so cool, man.
I think not every idea makes it to the big screen, but I do think even going through the process, and there's no regrets there in exploring, because I think it's through exploration. And like you said, a lot of the time you'll make something and you'll be a bit iffy about it. You sort of won't know. You'll be like, oh, this is new, this is different. I don't know how people are going to react to it. And then everyone really is like, this is so good. I think people are hungry for that more than ever now too. And I think because people forget things so easily, that's also an advantage. It's a disadvantage because you want to sort of bring a massive impact to the viewer. You want them to remember you. But I also think if you make something crappy, they're gonna forget it. It's gonna be
right.
1,000.
That's a great point.
So take a risk. If it's crap, as long as it's not too offensive or you're not attacking anyone, I think you should experiment. I think it's great, and I think it is scary to get it out there. It is, but I can't say that I've ever regretted posting something that I thought was crap and that later either turned out to be crap or turned out to be something that people got some appreciation. Or sometimes it'll only be 300 people. Sometimes you'll think, oh, this is going to be 1 million views, and there'll be 300 people, but there'll be 4 people, 4 comments in that 300 people, and they get it. Yeah. And in my heart, as much as I'd love to have the 1 million views things, there is a certain genuine satisfaction of being understood that those 3 people got it. You know what I mean? There is something special about that. Now, is there another 3,000 people just like that, just waiting out there? Of course, there's 8 billion people on the planet. There's 8 billion people on the planet. There's enough audience and excitement for everyone.
Yes.
It's finding it, and finding them, and matching the two up, and then making sure that it's your best work. And when by your best work, I mean give it your best. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be perfect. But if you put your heart and soul into it, and there's a bit of you in there's an essence of tears. There's 1 or 2 tears in each piece. You can really taste the sadness.
It's funny because it's sad.
You got to cry a little bit, just a little bit. A little bit of saltiness makes the chocolate taste sweet.
But I mean, oh man, this is gold, man. How I want to repeat this again. You just said like if you reach those 4 people, was it Michael Stipe from REM? Someone said a band, you just have to have, and the band name 10,000 Maniacs, I think came from this saying is like, that's what you need is you need to get those 4. And the next time you get another 4, And then once you break through with the maniacs who really get it, and that's
Yes.
so you can't obsess about the numbers. You have to obsess about who actually connects.
Nah, yeah, you got to really dig in, and I think a lot of even artists even artists creators you've had on the show have mentioned it.
Hmm.
Is that you've got to find you got to find your version of whatever it is, your version of the crazy, your version of the excitement, and have at least a little bit of faith in yourself that there's going to be other people out there that are going to like it. And I think that the more you dig into what's you about you, and the less you care about what everyone else thinks, the more you're going to resonate with the right people. Because you can have 1,000 fans, but if they just like you because you're popular at the moment, then they're not going to care. They're not going to care in 2 years. They're not going to care. But if they like you because something about their story reminded them of the same thing that reminded you about your childhood or something like that, then there's a proper bond there. You've shared an experience, even if through media. There's a more of a connection, and I think those ones are the ones that long term are gonna, yeah, like you said, 10,000 maniacs, and really that's true. All you need is 1,000 good fans. All you need is 1,000 people to believe in you and be there for you when you need it, and that's not a lot in a world full of 8 billion people. And 2/3 of them are online, so it's like six billion online at any given time. That's a lot of potential. That's a lot of people out there that are bored, that have seen the same thing 1,000 times, and they want your flavor of freaky.
Holy cow, this is so good, man. Well, that kind of maybe this is like a way to start heading to the end game. Like, given that what we just talked about, like having people who get it, real fans, and in this day and age, of course, you have Patreon, you have so many avenues where you can an artist could be supported by fans. How do you think about that in terms of like, well, if Netflix is like, hey, we want to do the Captain Ha Haa, thing, like we want to be in business with you, buddy, like, I mean, that would be sick, obviously. Like if you had a giant
That'd be
budget, that'd
awesome.
be so sick. That would be sick. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be
Uh,
awesome.
but like, I mean, yeah, I guess. How do you think about that? I mean, I guess what I'm asking is like, we're on the social media channels. That's how I see you. That's how you see me. That's how we see other people. We get inspired by that. But these are all snippets. These are all like moments and small
Mm,
stories. And it's
yeah.
like, I guess I guess how do you put that in perspective or context with like, I mean, do you have like larger scripts, or are you building your way there? Are you improvising your way to
Yeah.
like, okay, or both, or
Exactly that.
okay, okay.
Exactly that. Bigger plans is okay, because you do get to a point where you're like, okay, I've clearly got something here that
Hmm.
people are resonating with, that people are getting. There's something good about it. Where do I go from here? Because maybe I've got a couple of 2-minute videos, and I'm like, and that's when you really got to start planning out a bit. And it sucks a bit. I'm not too keen on the planning. I'm more, like I said, I like the improv part. I love just jumping in the studio, making something, throwing it up, and go next. I'm on to the next thing. But you've got to put some planning together, and you've got to realize, okay, in order to make it in this crazy world, there is already infrastructure in place for entertainment. You can make a couple of choices. You can either create your own platform, which a lot of people are doing,
Hmm.
and you're going to have mixed results there, or you can integrate yourself into the existing platforms. Now, you go straight for the obvious ones like Netflix, Hollywood, things like that. But what a lot of people overlook is it's a massive world out there. Example, India's got over 1 billion people, 1.1 billion people. Now, India watches Netflix just like everyone else, but they also have their own entertainment, right? They're also very big when it comes to cinema. They're also very, very, very keen when it comes to entertainment. So there's a market that most people wouldn't normally go to straight away. But if if you could capture the Indian market, that's 1.1 billion people. Now that's not Hollywood, it's Bollywood. It's not Netflix, it's something else. But the audience is just as massive, and they're just as keen to watch something new as the people that are watching Netflix. And I think that's the way you have to look at it. Is you have to look at it beyond our traditional little
Wow.
circle, which is nice, which is cool. Everyone wants to go to Silicon Valley. Everyone wants to have the chats and do the big, you know, catwalks and stuff like that. But I think what people are starting to realize now is that's only a tiny percentage of the world's entertainment. There's massive places in Europe as well. Europe and Asia, I think, get very forgotten about. I mean,
Hmm.
admittedly, 80% of my audience is US. So personally, that's where that's where a lot of my audience comes from is US. And so we all aim for that. You know what I mean? Regardless of where you are in the world, you're aiming for Hollywood. You're aiming for the big distribution. But I think we forget that's only 360 million people out of 8 billion. You know what I mean? Like there's literally entire countries out there that have their own system in place that are really keen to have some guy from overseas also participate in their entertainment industry. And we're at a place now where you can do that. I mean, there's no language barriers anymore. You can translate any video into any language with lip syncing. So if I wanted to make a video in Hindi, I could do that now. The exact same video, I could just spend a couple of days translating it, doing the lip syncing, and it wouldn't even need subtitles.
Whoa.
And same for China. So again, another billion people that are really excited, are very, very keen, are very accepting of the AI, much more so than Western culture is.
Yeah. And
again, I'm speaking to people in both of those countries that are very excited about distribution.
Wow.
They're very excited. And the numbers that they're sharing with me are way larger than the numbers I'm getting with traditional US distributors.
Whoa.
Sorry, ideas. Massively.
Would you have to change your content to fit cultural? Really?
No, because they want entertainment. Again, everyone forgets. We've all been watching. Again, from an outsider, from an Aussie,
Yeah.
We've all been watching US entertainment our whole lives. You know what I mean? And same with UK. So for us, it's always been about us trying to get in. About us on the outside trying. Well, wouldn't it be cool to one day to go to Hollywood and write something be cool? Whereas at the same time, everyone's making their own little mini Hollywoods. Everyone's making their own little mini Netflix.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Yes.
We've got the technology to do that now, and it's all about attention. And you can cut out the middleman. You can cut out the studio that also is, again, a lot of the industry too is just third-party studios. A lot of the industry seems to be, you're not working for Netflix, you're working for a studio that's working for a studio that's got a subcontract that's working on a TV show. So you're like six companies removed from the project you're telling people you're working on, when really you're not. You've been put right at the end of the line. And that happens financially too, where I'm seeing a lot of stuff where there's way too many middle people involved. Whereas if you can go to these distributors overseas, they're more than happy to work directly with the creator, because they're sick of it too. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So you got these traditional little groups, little echo chambers that have sort of been controlling where entertainment goes, and now you've got everyone else just going, we're sick of waiting. We're just going to make our own. We're just going to make our own.
It's so obvious to me. The stuff I see, it's like there's nothing remotely as creative or surprising or wonderful in Hollywood as there is that I see on fucking X every day. Like, I see more exciting stuff. That's why I'm there. That's why I'm literally like getting off my ass and interviewing these incredible people, because it's like, this is better. And it's so, I don't know if you followed the Obsession story, but like part of me was like, it had a relatively low budget, it made all this money, but like, part of me is because they built up this giant YouTube audience, and that's why it did well, not because fucking a studio, put it on some advertisements out. So it's like the same thing's going to happen with all these amazing creators on these different platforms that build audiences with cool stuff. They have the power. Hollywood needs them, or whoever needs them. The distributors need them.
100%. Completely. The game has changed, and the table has been flipped, as they say. There's far too much out there at the moment, and there's for too long there's been a very tight circle of people that have been able to decide what can and can't work, and that still exists now. It's not like that the guardrails are gone. There are still definitely still plenty of little in groups and in groups within in groups out there for distribution and all the different areas of entertainment. But I think if you're willing to put in the extra effort and work, you don't need them anymore as much as they need us now. And again, you'll see it. I think you'll see it every time you get a little bit of traction. You'll all of a sudden your DMs blow up, and you're like, oh, where were you 6 months ago when I really needed some support? I've done the work now. You're just here to sort of put your sticker on the on the box, as seen on Oprah.
Yeah. No, I mean.
Yeah, exactly. You don't write a book to get into Oprah's book club, but you'll make it eventually.
Right.
Oh, you'll make it eventually.
Right. Man, that's so cool.
So yeah, I think definitely aim for the traditional methods, but also understand that the game's changed. The world is a very big place. It doesn't begin and end in Hollywood. It doesn't begin and end in Silicon Valley. It's a massive world with massive opportunity, real money, real people, and ultimately, if you're passionate about your story, that's all you want. You just want to get your stuff out there. I'll put my stuff on Mars if that's where people dig it. I'll go there. I'll jump on the ship for 6 months. I got this. Not my first trip to Mars.
Would you go to Mars if it's available? You would go to Mars?
Only if I could bring my family. If I could bring my family, yeah, no problem.
Really?
Yeah, no problem. No worries.
Yeah, I bet that's the Aussie in you, man. The pioneers.
Yeah, that's
the
like
frontiers.
We don't mind.
Yeah.
One desert, another desert. It's pretty much the same. Red sand. It's the same stuff. Spiders are probably smaller than Mars.
Oh yeah, man. You know there's spiders out there. Wow. I mean, okay.
I would. I think my wife would too. She's very passionate. I don't know how about the rest of the family would feel. They'd probably be like, "Oh, come on, my friends come." But
hey,
yeah,
that's good. That's awesome.
I mean, that's still on my bucket list. I definitely think it's very plausible. Not going to Mars necessarily, but definitely space. I want to go to space.
Yeah, it seems like it's pretty close, right? To space tourism.
So close. Oh yeah. Just a quick trip to the moon and back. Just a quick trip. You know.
I mean, since we're at the end here, I mean, what do you think about, are you, so I assume you're kind of an optimist, like this future, like I like listening to Elon just to get a sense of like where we might be headed and talking about, people having robots in the house and, self-driving cars. It seems like we're moving towards that kind of Jetsons future pretty quick.
Yeah, I'm pumped about it.
Yeah, me too.
I'm excited. I mean, the world of the history, it's littered with suffering and sadness, and present day is no different. But I think we live like kings. I mean, we forget that we have all these luxuries that are so normalized now that even 30 years ago would have been magic.
Yeah.
And I think we're a little numb to that.
Yeah.
I mean, what I used to do every year was I'd take 2 weeks out of every year and go to the bush, like completely disconnect. Like go to the bush, bring a bunch of food, a bunch of water, set up camp. Usually in the springtime when the mountains and the snow is melting off the mountains, so it's nice. You get plenty of fresh water up in that Alpine National Park here in Victoria. And those 2 weeks would reset my brain. You know what I mean? They'd reset my brain for Uber Eats. They'd reset my brain for you know what I mean? Just all the silly luxuries that we throw money away on, and then just sort of just to think that's just normal or like I mean seriously, I can be sitting at home. I can be sitting at home, and just go. I feel like tacos, and then press the button, and some stranger will bring tacos to my house. That's insane.
It's insane.
It shouldn't be that easy to get tacos. You should have to fight a lizard man for it at least, at least one lizard man. Where's the balance, So the balance comes with, I think, you become jaded and you become numb. I think, we numb ourselves with our own luxuries sometimes.
Yeah. Yes.
So I think good, yes, but also bad. I think we're going to learn that the future we visualize, that Jetson's future is actually a little more complex than we thought in order to have a proper functioning society with fully, with fulfilled human beings. You want fulfilled human beings, and I think to do that, we're coming to a point now where it doesn't matter how much luxury you have. It doesn't matter how the comfort zone is not necessarily your friend.
Man. Yeah, and you made me think of that old saying that I don't know if it's Zen or if it's Buddhist, but it's like chop wood, carry water. It's in those day-to-day activities where you can meditate or have time for yourself, like washing the dishes. You don't need to automate every fucking single part of living, It's
magic.
Yeah.
It's part of the recipe. You don't realize it until it's gone. And you're like, why do I feel so pointless and empty? I got everything ticked off my list. It's like, but you didn't do anything, man. You watch videos on the toilet for half an hour and then make yourself a Pop-Tart. That's not, you didn't do anything. Go do something. Help an old lady cross the road. Anything, honestly. And because I work from home, there'll be days where I don't see anyone but my family. You know what I mean? And again, that's not healthy. It's nice. I like not seeing people.
Yeah,
I
for
love
sure.
not seeing people.
Yep.
Nothing better than not seeing people. Oh,
The best.
disappointed.
Oh.
Love it. I love it. But at the same time,
yeah,
it's that discomfort of having to, you know, deal with a difficult person at the post office or at the supermarket or just in life in general. That gives you an appreciation. You come out and you go, oh, gosh, I've done it so good here. I don't have to do that again tomorrow. But you've got to do it again tomorrow, or else you'll forget. And you'll be back on the toilet eating Pop-Tarts watching videos.
Oh, man. That's how we're going to end it. I love it. That's some freaking gold, man. This was an all-timer. Holy crap. I think I'm going to put this out on Friday because this is an all-timer. This is... They've been like... I have like a bunch in the bank, so they're really coming out slow. Like, you know...
I'm loving them.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Oh, awesome.
No, seriously, man, it's the fuel.
Awesome.
Oh, the Kim one, the
Black
Light one.
Great.
Oh, man, I'm just like all of them. The
How cool is
one,
it?
Man.
How cool is it?
Honestly, I have it. Yeah, it's so cool because you have it there, and it's like because they feel like my mates.
Right. Yeah.
You know, it's like this guy gets my tribe.
Yes.
That's my clan right there. Look
yes,
at him swing
dude.
that axe.
And you know,
that bloody axe.
And I don't. My sense is like, you know, it's this very special time. It's like the tide is in this certain point, and it won't be like this forever. And people go their own ways, and people are going to explode. You know, we are surrounded by a really massive talent, and so it's this really unique time that it's just so special. You can tell. It's just so cool, man.
You feel it.
Yeah,
I agree, man. I agree, and it's definitely you can see. In the crowd, you can see heads pop up.
Yes.
You know, there's one.
Yes.
There's another one.
Yes.
That's one of my people.
Yes.
And it's very exciting.
Cool.
Because you know we're onto something here.
Yes.
It's not just me. I know it's out there in the universe. It's floating about.
Yep.
You know.
Yep.
People are.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. They're all doing it. The antennas are up.
100%, man. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time. This was amazing. So much great wisdom. You're an amazing artist. You inspire so many people. You're beloved by many. So thank you for your time. Thanks for being on the pod.
Mate. Always a pleasure.
Awesome, man.
Thank you.
Have a great
Rock
night.
on, brother.
All right.
All right, outro now.
Oh yeah, here we go.
Glory. Always love and glory.
All right.
Victory.